In a move that we thought should have happened, didn't know if it was going to happen or anything like that, it actually didn't end up happening. What are we talking about? Bruh, they had filed a motion to get rid of that judge on Halloween. This got filed on Halloween, just so y'all know. The defendant by and through undersigned counsel pursuant to Florida Statute 38.10 and Florida Rule of Judicial Administration 2.330 hereby has filed this motion to disqualify presiding judge and in support of the states the following. Introduction. Defendant Alicia Andrews respectfully moves to disqualify the Honorable Michelle Sisco from presiding over this matter on grounds that her conduct and statements have created a well-founded fear that Ms. Andrews cannot receive a fair and impartial trial. Andrews stands accused of first-degree murder, conspiracy in connection with the alleged ambush killing of Jacksonville rapper Julio Foolio Jones. Probably should have put Charles in there, but that's fine. Throughout the proceedings, Judge Sisco exhibited overt hostility toward the defense, repeatedly interrupting counsel, refusing sidebars, and visibly prompting the prosecution during witness examinations. Moreover, her public assurances to the jury that it would receive the case for deliberation by a specific date demonstrate a predetermined, timeable, and consistent with judicial neutrality. These actions viewed cumulatively give rise to an objectively reasonable fear that Judge Sisco has abandoned her role as an impartial arbiter, requiring disqualification under Florida Rule of General Practice and Judicial Administration 2.330. Statement of facts. Conduct at the outset of trial. From voir dire, Judge Sisco has demonstrated bias against defense when she, through denying defense, caused challenges based on reasonable doubt that certain potential jurors could be fair and impartial, impaneled an almost all-white jury. What? Wow, didn't know that. Though Judge Sisco was aware that prosecutors in the case intended to introduce drill rap music and drill rap lyrics to the jury, Judge Sisco further demonstrated bias by denying defense counsel caused challenges based on potential jurors' express inability to understand rap music and rap lyrics. During opening statements, Judge Sisco permitted, you can say either or, permitted. No, actually, you can only say permitted because pre is PR. My bad, y'all. I'm over here messing up. I just got this, so I'm reading it with y'all, so pardon the mess ups. You know how I do this shit. I always mess it up anyways. The prosecution showed the jury images of several unrelated guns. Wow. Over defense counsel's numerous objections based on relevance. Over an hour of opening statements from the prosecution, defense raised objections to the prosecution's opening statements based on relevance, argument, and the cumulative nature of the prosecution's opening. At sidebar, defense counsel argued the cumulative nature of the prosecution's statements. Judge Sisco and reminded Judge Sisco that she instructed counsel that each had 1 hour to present opening statements. Judge Sisco quipped that she did not give that instruction, to which defense counsel responded that Judge Sisco not only gave that instruction, but laughed at defense counsel, which is supported by video evidence. When defense counsel in an earlier hearing inquired whether there was a time limit for an opening statement, Judge Sisco overruled defense's counsel objection and permitted the prosecution to continue for nearly a half hour more. This ultimately became the precursor for what would become a trial defending Miss Andrews' character based on her connection and proximity to individuals not even charged in the murder of Charles Jones. Yeah, they got a point here. Conduct during examination of witnesses. During Detective Nieder's redirect examination, after the detective testified he had not reviewed certain iCloud messages, the state questioned him further on that very topic. When defense counsel sought to object and request a sidebar, Judge Sisco refused both the objection to sidebar requested in front of the jury and further denied any opportunity for recross on the issue, effectively eliminating the defense's opportunity to preserve the legal issue. During this same witness testimony, Judge Sisco in front of the jury suggested that the state should have an objection to defense introducing evidence during their case in chief, while the state did not. The impression upon the jury and the public at large was the defense was attempting to do something improper. They're actually right on that one. Similarly, during the cross-examination of Officer Darbrecht on October 27, 2025, Judge Sisco's demeanor towards the defense was openly dismissive and suggestive of bias. When defense counsel Mr. Jeremy McLamont asks, "What relevance does the picture have to this case?" the court displayed visible annoyance, looked at the state, and shook her head rapidly from side to side, appearing to prompt the prosecution to object. Minutes later, when Mr. McLymont commented that the data took a long time to download, the judge removed her glasses, displayed visible irritation, and replaced them only after questioning continued. On the same day during Ms. White's cross-examination of Detective Nieder, the court told her to wrap up her questioning and instructing the court has never directed toward the state during its often lengthy examinations. Very true. Judge Sisco has continued to limit the defense's ability for thorough cross-examination and to put its own case to put on its own case throughout the trial. Improper courtroom demeanor and unequal treatment. Judge Sisco has also made dismissive and prejudicial remarks in the presence of witnesses and the jury. At one point, she falsely accused the defense counsel of making allegations of improper witness behavior in front of a hostile witness, undermining the counsel's credibility. Her body language and tone during defense objections have reflected irritation, impatience at times, and even anger, while her treatment of the prosecution has remained deferential and uncritical. Pardon me. I'll say uncriterical. Yeah, it's time for me to get some sleep, y'all. On October 28, 2025, during the cross-examination of the state's witness, Miss Amara Drew, the prosecution made several baseless objections to relevant questions about the safety mechanism on a rifle. The court sustained all objections without requiring legal grounds and became visibly frustrated when defense counsel sought to articulate a basis for relevance. Despite repeated requests for a sidebar to avoid further discussion before the jury, the court refused twice. With evident disdain, during the exchange, the state repeatedly raised its voice and spoke over defense counsel in an aggressive and unprofessional tone, yet the court took no corrective action. Premeditation and promise to the jury. On October 29, 2025, before the defense began its case, both arguments for judgment of acquittal were made. And even before cross-examination of the state's lead detective, Juan Ramos, who testified for 2 days, had begun, Judge Sisco told the jury that she would get this case to them for deliberation before Friday, October 31st, 2025. The assurance effectively communicated that the court had predetermined the pace and structure of the trial, irrespective of the defense's right to a full and fair presentation of evidence. That part is true, because you cannot do that. It's going to take how long it's going to take, because initially she even said, it's going to last between 2 to 3 weeks. I called cap on it, because there is no way in hell, but I can't tell you how I knew that. Additional incidents demonstrating bias. Later that same day, Mrs. White raised concerns about the state's repeated hostile tone towards the defense. The court entirely disregarded her complaint and moved on without addressing the issue. When she attempted to set the matter on the record, Judge Sisco scoffed and remarked, "This entire trial is on the record," in a dismissive and sarcastic tone. I would have said acerbic, but that's fine. During rulings concerning the admissibility of the interrogation video, Judge Sisco initially indicated she was inclined to rule in favor of the defense, but allowed the state extended time to find supporting case law. After reviewing authorities not directly on point, she deferred ruling until trial, signaling inconsistency and favoritism towards the prosecution. Additionally, though defense counsel never once raised self-defense or duress as an affirmative defense, the judge infantilized defense counsel with repeated and unprompted admonitions that duress is not a defense to first-degree murder. When defense counsel has made attempts to address its claims of domestic violence as they relate to this case, the judge smirked, and has generally mocked defense counsel when ruling against defense counsel's arguments and objections. And that's part of the reason why she sat up there and testified. I'm going to tell y'all again, had that girl not testified, she would have been found guilty of murder. I'm 100% certain of that one. Conduct on October 30th, 2025. By October 30th, 2025, the court's focus on expediting the trial at the expense of the defense became even more apparent. At approximately 11 a.m. during Mr. McLymont's cross-examination of Detective Ramos, Judge Sisco repeatedly interrupted him and ordered that video evidence be fast-forwarded to accelerate the proceedings again in front of the jury. These interruptions occurred after the judge had publicly promised the jury a verdict by Friday, thereby pressuring the defense to truncate its presentation. I want to make this bigger. Hold on real quick, because golly. Truncate its presentation later that same day when the defense attempted to introduce evidence via flash drive, a method previously used without issue. The court interrupted Mr. McLymont and suggested in front of the jury that the procedure was improper. When he explained the same method had been accepted earlier in the trial, Judge Sisco implied to the state again in the jury's presence that the defense's conduct was questionable or irregular, and then ruled that it was admitted under review until the court could assure there were no additional items on the drive the jury shouldn't see. Y'all remember that. We called that one out. The tone in which she spoke suggested that the defense was untrustworthy. Jeez Louisa. Public reaction to Judge Sisco's behavior. The trial has been live streamed on YouTube, and numerous members of the public who observed Judge Sisco's conduct expressed serious concerns about her impartiality and demeanor. The reactions captured contemporaneously in the live YouTube chat demonstrated a clear and consistent perception that Judge Sisco exhibited bias against the defense and hostility toward defense counsel. The public commentary provides independent, real-time cooperation of the defense's position that Judge Sisco's behavior created an object appearance of partiality in violation of the standards of judicial neutrality and decorum. Observers repeatedly remarked that Judge Sisco, one, displayed overt hostility toward the defense and its counsel, allowed prosecutorial latitude not afforded to the defense appeared to have prejudged the case or made up her mind before hearing all evidence and laughed or behaved dismissively while the defense attempted to make arguments or present its case. The public's consensus expressed through hundreds of real-time comments was that proceeding did not appear fair and that the presiding judge failed to maintain neutrality expected of the judiciary. See below. Here you go right here. Boy, I know some of y'all looking like, that's my name. So here we go. Direct accusations of bias, unequal treatment, and unfairness, hostility or rudeness, calls for recusal and sanctions. This right here. We're just going to start at the top. The judge is a mess and literally cannot hide her bias. The judge is biased as F. Judge hates the defense. She's allowing the prosecution to do and say whatever they want. The judge's mind been made up. Defense should ask for a different judge. This is not a fair trial. The judge is rude. The judge is nasty toward the defense. Judge doesn't like the defense. She's laughing. This is not a fair trial. They need to file a motion against the judge. They're going to ask for an appeal because of the judge. Now, some of y'all will be like, bro, I'm telling y'all, bro, the lawyers, they all pay attention, bro. The breadth and consistency of these independent comments by viewers with no direct stake in the outcome underscore a public perception that Judge Sisco's conduct demonstrated partiality. See Exhibit A, public's reaction to Judge Sisco's behavior. Such perception, even if unintentional, erodes public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary, warning recusal and renewed consideration of the proceedings to ensure fundamental fairness. Legal standard. Where a party feels the judge is presiding over his case cannot render a fair ruling, that party is permitted to have a new judge preside over the case. A motion to disqualify need only show that the party making it has a well-grounded fear that he will not receive a fair trial at the hands of the judge. So they're just going to go through and look at all type of case law and all that stuff. So we don't really have to do all that. That's where basically all this stuff happens. And they even put it in the chat. They put the chat on here. Judge's bias is not a fair trial. LMAO, the judge is a mess. The judge is laughing at it, not a fair trial. Judge is making up this crap. Judge is awful. The judge ain't worth a dollar. The judge is nasty toward the defense. Judge is rude. They need to file a motion against the judge. Y'all don't think the judge is biased. LMAO, judge doesn't like the defense. Judge doesn't like the attorneys. The judge is terrible. They're going to ask for appeal because of the judge. Judge mind being made up. Defense should ask for a different judge. She doesn't seem kind of biased. Judge hates the defense. They should actually, all of this stuff. I'm so glad, bro. When I be watching this stuff in real time, I don't be wanting to say stuff because shit like this, in my opinion, it always gets brought up. Y'all can see they are bringing it, bro. Look how many pages we got, man. They got so many damn pages. So you gonna get a judge disqualified based off of YouTube chats? Yeah, all right. So this was filed and denied before closing arguments. So, yeah, it is what it is. So, I ain't gonna hold you. I think this right here only helps. I know what y'all thinking. Bruh, Nash, they just pissed off the judge way before all of this stuff. Meaning way before the judgment came out and all of these things. And let me tell y'all something. As bad as people can or want to complain about the defense, they played it well. If you can't tell that judge wasn't biased, then I don't know what trial you were watching because she 100% was. That judge was out of line, out of pocket, out of place, out of order. If I had a gavel, I'd be slamming the hell out of it. But they got what they got. And I think the judge, when it comes to sentencing, is going to sentence on the lower end because she has to check her bias. If she doesn't, it's still a win. Why is that a win? Because of the appeal. There's going to be an appeal for a lower sentence no matter what. So I asked the question to you guys. If the judge kind of knows this, if the judge overdoes it, they're going to appeal and go down, 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 down. If the judge is smart, she's going to do a lower sentence and she'll only get a couple of years with already time served. So there's that, because y'all got to look at it this way. Girl ain't been in trouble before. This is her first time. It's not a freaking full-on first degree. It's really a second degree. So I hear everybody in the comments, but if you go look it up, or we'll just play, you can go look at the video. Nah, that ain't what's going to happen. So good job for the lawyers because they had no choice. They had to do this. That just sucked. There were certain things that shouldn't have came in. All the music videos had nothing to do with her in general. If anything, when they got to play Julio Foolio stuff, bro, they looked at, I would imagine some of the jurors had to hear that shit. Like, I would have popped them too. Probably one of them grandmas would have, give me my 45. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. But yeah, that was a terrible trash ass trial. It should have never happened. The state should, in my opinion, the charges that they brought against her were way too high. They were trying to make an example out of her, not only for the rest of Florida, not only for the county that they resided, but for all of Florida. You're going to hear examples of teachers, of cops, of prosecutors, of all of these individuals who speak to the youth or speak to young women and say, don't be another Alicia Andrews. Be right, be wrong. There's going to be a campaign that is going to press forward with making sure that women like her get their just desserts. The next one won't be so lucky. So I hear everybody. I see what everybody talking about. I know what we should do, but I don't think it's going to happen. And what is that? What should happen is she should take some type of responsibility and throw herself at the courts and lean on, I'm a good girl. I really didn't know anything, but I get what I did wrong. But I'm going to be fair. If she does anything where she takes responsibility like that, the judge is going to say, I can damn near verbatim say it, if you accept responsibility, accept what I have sentenced you to, bam. And she probably going to come out and say something terrible like 6 years. So 6, 7, probably. I was thinking maybe, lean on the edge of 4 to 6. But the more I think about how that judge was behaving and reacting, hell nah. But what do you think? What do you think? What do you think our sentence is going to be? Do y'all even believe what we've been saying over here that, bro, that damn judge is biased as hell? Or do y'all believe that the judge actually had a lot of stuff to do and to make sure that they held on to the decorum of the courts? I don't know. However y'all want to see it. But win one of these by subscribing and commenting your thoughts right now. After you just hit that like button, you hit that like button. All right, cool. If we can get this up to 4K likes, I'm telling you right now, bro, the subscribers go like this. For whatever reason, YouTube eat them damn likes up. So if you can, light it up on the like button. But let me know your thoughts on this one, man. Be curious to see. And Blue Race, home. Check out right here, bro. Already got the internet going crazy. In less than 12 hours, already got the damn internet going crazy. Click right here, or click right here for the playlist, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.